From the yogic point of view, the respiratory system is of paramount importance. So, we will explain this in great detail. The ancient yogis discovered that perfecting the breathing techniques known as pranayam for the mastery of life. From the anatomical and medical point of view, let us understand the respiratory system. It is the system which brings oxygen from the air into the body and removes carbon dioxide. The system includes the nose, trachea, and the lungs. When you breathe in, air enters your nose or mouth and goes down two bronchial tubes. These end in tiny air sacs inside the lungs. Oxygen follows this path through the air sacs and blood vessels. They enter the bloodstream through a process called diffusion. Simultaneously, carbon dioxide passes into the lungs and is exhaled. The lungs, if opened up and spread out, can cover an area of a tennis court. They contain over 300,000 million capillaries, and if they are laid end to end, they would stretch 24,000 kilometers. During a 24-hour period, an average human being will breathe 24,000 times. Your lungs move about 10,000 liters of air. Every day the lungs move it. You require 88 pounds of oxygen every day. A respiratory system at the base of the brain controls our breathing. The center sends ongoing signals up and down the spine to the nerves of the muscles involved in the breathing. These signals ensure that our breathing is constant by tightening and relaxing regularly. This results in our breathing automatically without being aware of it. The respiratory system and the respiratory center is both voluntary and involuntary. Practically, our breathing is under our control up to a point where life is involved. We can breathe in any manner and at any rate we decide. If this was not so, then speaking would not be possible. We can hold our breath up to a point where life is not threatened. As soon as life is threatened, the involuntary control takes over. In addition, when the body is under exertion during physical exercise or a workout, the respiratory system works faster to provide more oxygen. The ancient yogis were aware of the relationship of the mind with the breathing. Our emotions, such as fear, anger, alter our breathing. This also means it is possible that we can control our emotions by simply taking control of our breathing. Of all the involuntary body systems, breathing is the only involuntary system over which you can take over voluntary control. It is possible to momentarily hold the breath or increase or decrease the rate of our breathing. The yogis realized that through this, the other body systems could also be altered or made more efficient. This forms the scientific basis of pranayam. This elevates the respiratory system as the master system of our body. Unfortunately, as we grow older, our breathing becomes shallower and our emotions take over the natural rhythm. Our modern lifestyles of hurry and worry have taken their toll on our breathing. As a matter of fact, children breathe more efficiently than adults like us. Just observe an infant in sleep. Notice how the diaphragm gently rises and collapses. Most adults do not know how to breathe deeply. Simply ask someone to take a deep breath and observe how one uses the nasal muscles to draw in more air. This is wrong and only fills the upper part of the lungs. The correct breathing involves the use of the diaphragm and not the nose. Let me demonstrate this for you. Ask someone, take a deep breath. What does he do? Finished. I'll do it again. Finished. The nasal muscle has come into play. Do it one more time. Ask anyone to do it. Don't look at me. Ask yourself also. Do it in front of a mirror. Finished. Now, I show you how a yogi breathes using the diaphragm. The lungs are being filled from the bottom down using the diaphragm. The volume of air is much more. I will be teaching you how to do it, and that's when the miracle will start. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'll take you there. I'll take you. An average person draws in 500 mils of air, whereas a trained yogi can draw in almost 3,000 mils of air, almost 5 times as much. Just imagine its effect on the metabolism, 5-fold. The fourth stage of yoga is pranayam. The word pranayam is a combination of two words, pran and ayam. Pran can be loosely translated as breath, whereas the correct meaning is life force. To grasp a better understanding, it is that which sustains life. Life can exist without food and water for days. But without breath, it is a matter of minutes. Ayam means restrain or control. Hence, pranayam is the restraint and control of breathing. The ancient yogis measured their life not in years but in breaths. Some yogis are said to have transcended the barriers of time. The correct understanding of this is that with the awareness on breathing, one can only be in the present and is liberated from the past and the future. Life at birth begins with an inhalation, and at death it ends with an exhalation. A baby, when it is born, is turned upside down and tapped, throws its arm apart, inhales air, and it cries, inhalation. And when we die, the last thing, exhalation. Everything in between is what we understand as our lives. The yogis knew that of all the involuntary body systems, respiration was the only involuntary system over which one could exercise some voluntary control or restraint. There is a direct relationship to the state of our mind and breathing. Notice how in anger the breath is rapid and short. When enjoying a beautiful sunset, the breathing is slow and rhythmic. The ancient yogis discovered that it was simple to control the mind at all times by simply controlling the breath. Hence, the correct understanding of pranayam and its practice is important to your life, whether you are practicing yoga or not. Pranayam is the key to the art of correct living.